The Padres broke the bank last offseason. I mean, they spent $4 billion in guaranteed money for new talent. They were coming off of a year where they won 89 games and were just a few games away from the World Series. I mean, that year the pitching was impeccable, they dominated and did really well. But they still had one major issue, and that issue was the offensive production. The only player that had an OPS above 800 was Manny Machado, and the entire lineup, by the way. Their superstar shortstop Fernando Tatis Jr. was unfortunately injured and suspended. It doesn't help either that, of course, Juan Soto was injured and was in a down year when he did play. The Padres were really close that year. They knew that their winning window was widening, but they needed more talent to go ahead and open it all the way. They needed to get better, and longtime GM AJ Preller was given the okay by the ownership to go on a spending spree. They went into the offseason knowing that they needed runs to be scored in 2023 if they were to be competitive. So on December 9th, they signed the Red Sox shortstop of 9 years, Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts received an 11-year contract. He was really good with Boston, and he improved his defense drastically. He had a .307 batting average, so he also had a really good bat. Xander was the upgrade that the Padres were looking for at shortstop all around. This contract was worth $280 million guaranteed in money. This might have been a big upgrade, but boy was it a lot of money. But outside of this signing, they didn't really make any moves offensively. Instead, they wanted to improve the pitching, and they came in hot. They fixed that bullpen right up. They signed Robert Suarez to a 5-year, $46 million deal, and Nick Martinez to a $26 million deal. On 2 bullpen pitchers alone, that is $72 million. Their last 2 signings were starting pitchers, and the best pitcher on the Red Sox in 2022, Michael Wacha, was given a 4-year, $26 million deal by the Padres. The spending was unreal, but the Padres were just getting better and better by the day, so no one was complaining, right? Their last major signing was starting pitcher Seth Lugo. Lugo got $15 million in his contract. Now, as great as this all sounds for the Padres, none of it matters if they're losing baseball games, and the season fell apart just as quickly as it began. It's as simple as the Padres just weren't winning. I mean, they were not winning games, and they were playing really inconsistent baseball. The morale in the clubhouse was also a losing culture all around. We saw several reports, heck, we even saw players come out and talk about it. It was a bad year. They finished the year 82-80, and keep in mind, 2022 they won 89 games. All they did this year was get Tatis and Juan Soto back from an injury. They signed Xander Bogaerts, Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, plus they fixed the bullpen. The Padres had a good team. I mean, they had talent all the way across the board on every level. Juan Soto had a career year leading the major leagues in walks. Manny Machado was also yet again really good as usual. Ha-Sung Kim had a breakout year for the Padres, and Fernando Tatis Jr. was the best fielder in the major leagues. He won the Platinum Glove, which again goes to the very best defender. This team on paper should have been fixed. I mean, the rotation was also really good. Blake Snell won the Cy Young Award. Free agent pickup Seth Lugo had a .357 ERA. Free agent Michael Wacha had a low 3 ERA. And Joe Musgrove had a .305. I mean, what in the world happened? This rotation is easily better than half the league's pitching. And oh, by the way, they had the best closer in baseball, Josh Hader. To go along with that, free agent pickup Nick Martinez was really good with a .343 ERA. Statistically, you're not going to get it much better than some of these players, but they as a team did fail. Last season was the season to win, because guess what? The Padres have got to enter a rebuild now if they plan on winning in the future. In case you're salty and you're like, what are you talking about, dude? Well, here's what I'm talking about. The Cy Young Award-winning pitcher Blake Snell, he's leaving the Padres. Michael Wacha is, of course, a free agent currently. Seth Lugo's a free agent. Oh, and by the way, Nick Martinez, who was really good for the bullpen, he already left. He already signed at the Padres. And oh, just wait, it doesn't end there. Josh Hader, the best closer in baseball, is also currently a free agent. They got zero trade value for all of those players. They just let them all walk in free agency, and that is a damn failure if I've ever seen it from AJ Preller. They still have the opportunity to sign some of those guys, but they sure as hell won't be able to sign most of them. So let's see. They lost 3 starting pitchers. They lost their closer. And are we going to mention the fact that they're probably going to be trading Juan Soto within the next few weeks? I mean, what in the world is going on? Juan Soto is the #1 guy that they should have built around, but instead they're going to be trading him. But I guess at the same time, at least they're going to be getting trade value for someone at the very least. It's about time, don't you think? This trade that the Padres do is likely going to be going to the Yankees. Now, what you have to ask yourself, what are the Yankees going to be able to give up for Juan Soto? Because their farm system is realistically okay at best. The major league team really doesn't have a whole lot to offer. This trade is just risky if you're the Padres. The Padres have got to get a haul in this trade, and I'm talking rookie outfielder Jason Dominguez. You got to get him. The dude's going to be really, really good. To go along with that, get every starting pitcher that you possibly can out of New York. As much as this trade could be good for the Padres, you're still losing a superstar. You're still losing several superstars in free agency. And oh, by the way, what good lefty do you have outside of Juan Soto? The answer is literally no one. Prospects alone cannot fix this mess that the Padres are in, and they might be forced to continue the rebuild and continue to tank in 2024. The failure of choosing a true direction at the trade deadline will forever be one of AJ Preller's worst decisions of all time. At the trade deadline, they should have sold. They should have got rid of Hader, they should have got rid of Snell, and heck, maybe even Juan Soto. I'm sure that he probably had a higher trade value then than he does now. At least then you would have got half a season. Now, it's only one season compared to 1.5. But instead of the trade deadline, they traded for Rich Hill, and they called it a day. And by the way, Rich Hill had an 8 ERA with the Padres. AJ Preller has been the GM since 2014. He was instructed to rebuild and get the team back to winning. He's had nearly 10 years of experience at GM for the Padres, and here's the thing. With 10 years of experience, you would have thought that he would have been able to make the right decision at the deadline. You would have thought that he would have sold and done it right. He's only made the playoffs twice, by the way, in 2020 and 2022, and I truly do think that this is the very last year that Preller gets to prove himself. If he does well, great. They have their GM, you keep him, you keep moving forward. If not, big changes need to be made for the Padres, not just Preller, but everyone else needs to be gone as well. Looking in at the Padres farm, they definitely have some pieces, they can win in the future, but it's more so the distant future, right? That's really not what Padres fans are hoping for, but again, that's just really the situation that they got themselves in. Again, even if these prospects were to actually pan out, here's what I want you to ask yourselves. After losing all the players that they are, even if those prospects were good, do you really think that they're going to be able to be better than the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks? I mean, the Dodgers are really, really good. They won 100 games last year, and there's a very good shot that they had Shohei freaking Ohtani. Plus, they're highly connected to Yoshinobu Yamamoto right now, aka the best starting pitcher on the free agent market. So, what are you really going to be able to do? Can you actually contend with that team? Or again, the Diamondbacks, they're coming off of a World Series loss. They want to be able to win, and I guarantee you that they will be making big moves. Of course, they already made one trade. And then you have the Giants. They won 79 games, aka 3 less than the Padres. Reports have been that they plan on spending really, really big money, and I'm just not sure. I think that the Padres are the odd team out. Let me know what you guys think, what the Padres should actually do, or what direction that they're headed in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already, and peace out.